Thank you for joining us tonight here on OpenLine. My name is Chris Conti. We are continuing our conversation from Facebook Live about people who are stuck living in the gap. 280,000 Tennesseans can't get the health care coverage that they so desperately need right now because of a loophole in the system. Here now is the story that photojournalist Bud Nelson and myself put together on this incredibly serious topic.
If I hadn't had the car, I don't know what I would have done. I'd probably be dead.
Like the rear view mirror she stares into,
I just don't even know how I got here.
choice is far behind Betty Jarvis on this road she is stuck on.
It's just all I've been through.
She's almost out of gas, completely out of hope.
No, I don't have anything but this car, and I'm upside down on it.
Not a place anyone would ever choose to be, especially given where she's been.
One of the characters that I played at OpenLine was Minnie Pearl.
Betty first started singing at the age of 14. There have been appearances with Minnie Pearl, performances at the Grand Ole Opry.
You lose track of time, hon, when you're living out of a car.
The song inside her, though, is now silenced. Earlier this year, she slipped and lost her balance at home.
Broke ribs, my eyes were black.
Then she lost her job at a home improvement store.
I don't know that I have hope now, because nobody's going to hire me in the shape I'm in. I wouldn't hire me.
This once proud woman is now broke.
I've got $9.36 in the bank.
She has no money and no insurance. She needs to see a doctor, but can't pay for it.
I'm broke. I'm sick. I can't get better.
And there are 280,000 other Tennesseans who are stuck in the same gap. They don't qualify for TennCare and are too poor for Obamacare.
I mean, 280,000 people. That's a lot of people. That should never happen in America.
And Betty Jarvis is hardly alone in her struggle.
Yeah, stepped off right there, and evidently I come down, hit head first right here on the concrete.
Donnie Rippey hasn't been able to work in years.
It cracked my skull, you know, and then it damaged my brain.
These days, this lifelong construction worker can barely keep up with farm work.
They had to put steel plates in my hand and wrist.
When the accident happened, he didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't qualify for any kind of coverage.
They've just kind of deserted him out here.
Donnie's partner Betty is left to wonder why some lawmakers in Tennessee continue to leave nearly $1 billion in federal funds on the table that could help close this gap.
And they really don't realize it until something happens to somebody they know or to them.
Yeah. Especially if it happens to you, then you really realize what it really means to have insurance.
They are drowning in medical bills.
This was $15,465.22. How the heck am I going to pay this?
And they are hardly alone.
Oh yeah, I've got several bags like this. I know I can't afford to pay it.
Trash bags are what Stephen Wall uses to store his bills.
I've got a blood disease, and it's eating away at the nerves in my legs and my arm.
He too is stuck living in the gap.
And there's $1 billion sitting up there at the Capitol that we could get in this state if they would just take it and quit doing things their way.
It could easily become anyone's reality.
I had everything going for me. I had money in the bank. I had a good job. I had insurance. I had my own place.
This is what living in the gap
I'm sorry.
looks like.
I'm just asking them to do the right thing and bridge the gap.
And Betty Jarvis would much rather have chosen a different direction.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I just day to day.
And so this conversation continues. 280,000 people who have similar stories to the ones that you just heard there. A lot of them are stuck with nowhere else to turn. We bring in now Gordon Bonnyman from the Tennessee Justice Center. Gordon, we have been talking about this for a little while now this evening, but a lot of these people, there's just no help for them right now. There's
right.
there's nowhere they can go.
Right. As your report showed, there is a gap in the system. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, was supposed to cover them, but our state, along with 18 other states, declined to accept the federal dollars to cover the people below poverty. So you've got the Affordable Care Act providing coverage for people above the poverty level, but because of our state's decision, the people who are, most of whom, by the way, are working, but they're working at minimum wage jobs, don't have coverage and can't get it. And those are the people who are in the coverage gap. And then you've got people like the folks that you just covered who have long working lives. They've worked all their lives. I've talked to many people who say, I started work when I was 14, 15, 16, and now they've got physical problems and they can't, and they're anxious to get back to work, but it's kind of a catch-22. They can't go back to work because they can't get the health care they need. They can't get the health care they need because they're not making enough money. And so it just goes
the
on
cycle
like that.
continues.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. There are a lot of these people, maybe they are making some money, but they certainly aren't making enough money to afford the Affordable Care Act, any kind of insurance under that, especially
Right.
now we've seen a lot of these premiums go up. And then, they also don't qualify for TennCare. I know Betty Jarvis, who was kind of the main character in that story there, she told us, that one of the main reasons she can't qualify for TennCare is because she doesn't have a child living at home. So it's just her. And so that's the thing, perhaps if she had a dependent, that maybe she would be able to qualify, but that's not the case.
I think, Chris, people don't realize, they think, well, TennCare is there for anybody who's on hard times. It isn't. The Affordable Care Act was supposed to fix that, but again, because of our state lawmakers' decision, it's not. There are 280,000 people out there who they're not eligible either because they don't make enough money or because they, as Betty was saying, they don't have a child, a small child at home. They're not getting disability benefits. Right now, if you're disabled, like the individuals in the story, they apply. The wait time to get a decision out of Social Security runs to 2 to 3 years for many people.
And in that 2 to 3 years, that is a lifetime for people who are stuck.
Of course. Can
in
you
this
imagine
insurance
being in
gap.
excruciating pain all that time?
No, and I mean, there are a number of these people, and we were talking about this earlier. I mean, people end up literally drowning in debt, drowning in medical bills, hundreds of thousands. I mean, the one gentleman in the story there, Stephen, the only way he can store his medical bills is by keeping them in trash bags. I mean, if that doesn't speak to the severity of this problem, I don't know what does, because he just has nowhere else to do. He just puts them in a bag and has to forget about them because he has a job making minimum wage. But if he were to try to think about all of these medical bills that he has to help deal with his health issues, he would be literally drowning. And so, I mean, and then this continues. We do want to remind folks that we are here to take your questions. We would like to open this dialogue up to you. Please call in 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-PLUS. We will be trying to answer as many of your questions as possible. Again, this problem isn't unique to Tennessee. There are 19 other states who aren't accepting this federal money, but
19 including Tennessee.
Including Tennessee.
Right.
So there are 18 other states, but we are living with this right now as a state. I mean, this is our state's reality.
I mean, you can look at Kentucky or Arkansas. They both accepted the federal dollars, and so we've had people that have lived within miles of the Kentucky line, and we've said, we hate to tell you this, but you need to move across the state line.
Yeah.
Because your health is so desperate, you can't wait until our state gets around to accepting the money.
Really pressing issue. We are here to take your questions this evening. Gordon Bonnyman from the Tennessee Justice Center. We will continue with this conversation about people who are stuck living in the gap coming up after this break.